All right. We are good to go. Yeah. So thanks for meeting with me, Angela. I really appreciate it. I wanted to just get your perspective on how you came to the decision to become a personal trainer and what that process was like and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, so I had just graduated with my master's in flute performance,
mhm.
and I had no idea what to do for a job.
Yeah.
That's the first start of it. Like, okay, cool. This didn't set me up for anything if I don't get a teaching job, which means I have to have a doctorate, which I don't have,
Mm,
or if I don't get an orchestra job, which I got one, but it is a part-time orchestra.
mm,
So I was like, well, what else? So I'd always been interested in fitness. I started really seriously working out in college, and my let's see, I joined the Army back in 2003. So I already loved fitness, already knew I liked the challenge. And um, I really just enjoyed it. And so when I did my master's, I was already really interested in fitness. So that just became part of what I was doing. And I thought, I got really muscle magazines stuff. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I wanted to look like the people on the, in the magazines,
yeah.
and they would post workouts. So I just did whatever they did in the workouts, which is not really smart, but those were bodybuilding workouts. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I want to look like that.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to the gym. What started out as a few days a week, I started going like 4, 5, 6 days a week. 6 days, not, I would always take Sunday off, usually. Or Saturday, I would do cardio by like going for a run, or which is funny to say, I don't run anymore, but going for a run or going for a long walk or doing something. And I would go to the gym and lift 5 days a week
Mhm.
before, and it just became a habit. I'd wake up, I'd walk the mile or so it was across campus to the gym. I'd do my thing, walk back. And when I was walking back, I'd plan what I'd eat for the day. And it just simplified everything.
Yeah.
Boy, I could wish I could do that again. It just doesn't, it's just not that easy once you get out of college. Your gym isn't right there and your schedule's all over the place. So when I graduated, like I said, I didn't know what to do. And I'd always been really interested in fitness. And at that point, I was newly married in a new town with no friends and no job and nothing to do. My husband was at work, and I'm like, I'm just gonna throw myself into this whole fitness thing. And so I did, sorry about this. I signed up for a fitness competition.
Mhm.
And I did my first and only figure competition just to see what I was capable of. And it was quite the learning experience. I don't think I'll ever do another one.
Yeah.
I might, but I don't really care. I just want to see what I could do and if I could do it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me what the human body can do. But then, I had some negative experiences come out of that. And I
Mhm.
started really diving into, oh my gosh, there's so much I don't know.
Yeah.
What do I not know? And the more I learned, I would spend hours a day just researching and learning stuff. And at this point, I'm teaching some flute lessons, and they're not really going anywhere because I'm in a that people don't really care about music. So I thought, I wonder if personal training is like teaching flute lessons, but for the body. Let me go look into it. So I started looking into it, and I found one certification, and the Army was going to pay for it. So I thought, well, I'll just pick one. People told me not to go get this one, and I did it anyway because it was cheap. And I'm like, you're not going to learn anything. They were right. But it was a joke. I don't know if it's any better now, but it was definitely a joke then. So should I drop names? But I don't know. I wouldn't go with ISSA. They might be way better now. Then I looked up all my answers on the bodybuilding.com forum and typed them into a Word document. That is not
Right.
just no.
Yeah.
You just know, right? Okay, that should tell you everything you need to know. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was then. And then but I wanted to see, like, okay, I've got some letters after my name. Will this actually teach me anything? And it kind of whetted my appetite for it. And I started looking around. I started training a couple people. And I realized, oh my gosh, I like this. This is fun. This is like teaching, and I like teaching, and I'm a good teacher. And oh, this is cool. I can make money at this. This is fun. I can set my own schedule. I can do this, this, this. So I started looking around and like, okay, this gave me some letters after my name, but it didn't really teach me anything. So this is not helpful. I need to, if I'm actually going to do this, I need to actually learn something. And so there are basically there's 3 or 4 certifications that have that are more or less more highly regarded than others. NASM, NSCA, ACSM, and ACE. So they're all really pretty similar. ACSM and ACE seemed more general population, more cardio based.
Okay.
Now, this is then, I don't know about now, but they didn't really appeal to me. And back then they didn't have the reputation they kind of do now. And I think they've stepped up their game.
Right.
This has been 11 years ago. So I looked at NSCA. NSCA is really geared towards people who, I'm just gonna move, this is driving me nuts. It's really geared towards people who want to deal with Olympic lifting, powerlifting, lots of straight, like stuff like that, more athletic type population. I was like, I don't really care. I don't really want to work with athletes. I've never been a sports person. I'm really bad at sports, but I like picking up heavy stuff. Zero hand-eye coordination, like it's not there. So I'm like, but I like picking up heavy things because if you don't move, unless I'm moving, right? So I started to do NSCA, but like I said, I looked into that and this is going a direction I don't care about. Okay, so then I went over to NASM and the light bulb just clicked. I mean, just reading about all the stuff in the beginning, they teach you all the muscles and all the bones, what they do. I mean, it was overwhelming. They teach you compensation patterns. They keep talking about muscle compensate over and over and over again. And how when things kind of get out of whack, that can affect you. And that's kind of where the light bulb went off in my head about musicians, because at this point I'd been injured several times.
Yeah.
You know, I had actually tried to hire a couple personal trainers myself. It's never gone well, which I think is ironic. But I didn't hold that against them. It just wasn't what I needed.
Yeah.
And then I don't think I even had this either. So looking at this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what musicians need, because this is what we deal with, because, you know, you're holding a block of wood or a metal stick or whatever for decades at a time. This makes perfect sense. Yeah. So I started studying for that, and it's just, everything fell into place. It made so much sense. And then I was able to really actively apply that to the clients I was already teaching or training. And then they had all these continuing education opportunities, and it just went on and on. I learned so much. But yeah, this is really some good stuff. And these people are really knowledgeable, and they really care. There's not a lot of ego involved, and this is cool. I like this population. This is fun. So I just kept going at it, and I still like it. It's like I get to marry my favorite group of people, which are musicians, with one of my favorite things to do, which is to be fit, and also just to give them like a sense of empowerment.
Yeah.
You know? And I love to teach, and it's just teaching about the body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think that what you're saying there is so important, because a lot of musicians feel like they're kind of at the mercy of their own limitations. I mean, I certainly felt that way when I've been injured, and I'm like 22 and I've been injured 3 times, you know, and it can feel, right, it's like, okay. Yeah. But like, it can feel really defeating, but you putting that information in their hands helps them feel a lot more, that they have more agency with their learning. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, musicians aren't really taught this kind of stuff. I mean, the two worlds shouldn't be far apart, but they kind of seem like you're either somebody who just if you're a musician, you either don't exercise at all, or you are like very few people are on the fringe that are just like there all the time, you know, whatever. Yeah. But most people, I feel like the musicians I've come into contact are just there for general health, and they don't know too much about what they're doing. They're doing stuff, which is good, but they're not really targeting strength training in a way that's going to help their careers.
Right. Yeah,
And it
absolutely.
can,
Yeah, it
you know,
absolutely can.
I
Um,
mean, running doesn't really get you there. It's
yeah.
helpful, but people, that was one of the biggest things when I started. Oh gosh, when I started Music Strong, I got this question all the time. So you mean like breathing exercises? I have to come to the gym for that. No. Does that mean like running on a treadmill with my guitar? No. What the heck? What? Guys, this is not complicated. I still get questions like that. A lot of stuff about breathing. I'm like,
That's so funny.
you no. No.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. That's great. Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah. I had a follow-up question. So, I've heard of like personal training and I've heard of getting a CSCS certification, something strength and conditioning specialist, whatever.
Yeah.
And so are those two things much different from each other? What's the difference?
So yeah, good point. CSCS is well, heck, now I don't remember. Conditioning, strength. I forgot. Anyway, it has to do. Again, that's through NSCA. So that's more of like the strength, powerlifting, Olympic
Oh, okay.
lifting, more athletic type. You can use that with any population.
Right.
Absolutely. But I'm working with a PT right now who has his CSCS.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he got his personal training certification through NASM first, and then got his CSCS through NSCA, and that. I'm like, cool, but I'm like watching him, or like he's teaching me stuff, and it's just like there's this. It's cool to have him around because he knows both sides of it. But I mean, there's definitely more of a bent towards stuff I don't really care about doing, like I don't really care about snatching clean jerks and stuff. There are people who do. So to answer your question, it's more of a specialization.
Okay.
So getting your certification as a trainer is your first step. And you can do that through any agency that fits what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure they're really, those four are the ones that are most highly respected. And PT is getting there, I think, but they're still kind of like, you don't see a lot of people with that. And ISSA is, I don't trust them. Sorry, I don't. If I see somebody, even if I know they know what they're doing, I don't trust them to do it for me.
Right.
Just based off what I know.
Yeah.
So take that with a grain of salt, do your own research. But yeah, so the you get your certification, which is your certified personal trainer certification. That's what you become. You get that through anybody. And then I have like the specializations that I have, like a CES, which is corrective exercise specialization.
Okay, yeah.
And I have a senior fitness specialization and a cancer fitness specialization. Do I have any others? I probably. And then CSCS is their specialization through certified strength and conditioning coach. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what that is.
I got it. So that is if you want to become a certified strength and conditioning coach.
Okay.
I don't know as much about it, but it is generally geared towards certain populations.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah.
Now, I do know a flutist who is getting her, she's studying for her CPT with NASM. And she might go on to get her CSCS because she's into powerlifting. She might want to train people in that, which I think is awesome. We don't have anybody doing that. I mean, there should be somebody doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying they only do powerlifting. They don't, but they do go into the stuff. NASM doesn't cover this, but they do. So they do go into Olympic lifts and some more barbell stuff. I'm being very generalizing about this because I don't know as much because I haven't been in that world. But they are, yeah. So we have CPT is a thing, and then we have specializations. That's the thing.
Okay.
I'm pretty pretty 98, 87% positive that the CSCS is a specialization. You have to have your CPT first.
Okay, because I've heard some conflicting things about that, and I didn't know what the difference was because it kind of seemed like the same thing, but yeah.
I could be wrong, and it could be NSCA's their version of CPT.
Right.
So I could be wrong about that. I haven't
Okay.
looked in a hot minute.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you.
Sorry, I don't know if that was helpful at all.
No, it actually was. Like it does help to think of it as more of a specialization for like the underlying. I teach people how to, be healthy and not hurt themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I've been seeing like okay, another question for you. So I've been seeing and I'm definitely within this population, a lot of musicians, which is really, really cool. They're realizing like, oh my gosh, we're all getting injured, we're all getting hurt, we need to figure out how to not do this. I know, I'm gonna like teach people how to take care of their bodies. But then they're like, now what? Do I have to go and get like a doctorate of physical therapy now? I don't want to do that. And so what I've been seeing is that people will like choose to get certified in different things that they are passionate about. Like if you really, I know a bunch of people who are like, oh yeah, I want to be a yoga teacher. They're now teaching yoga. But like if you're kind of wanting to do that but not sure where to start, what would you advise as far as like
What's
figuring
your
out like
passion?
I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty new to like exercise. I I mean, I
Okay.
definitely put myself in a box of like I'm not sporty. I like to hike. That's about it.
I don't sports.
I don't sport. I don't sport at all.
No
So
sports ball.
yeah. So like I just started looking into Pilates. I really like Pilates. And then I'm also looking into like uh being a certified personal trainer because I mean that sounds cool and you can do like corrective stuff but I'm very new to it all and I don't know I want to like I have so many
Beautiful.
questions about it all that I just want to
Yeah.
learn everything so yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's a fantastic question. The best thing I can tell you is to try anything and everything that sounds remotely appealing.
Okay.
Because the opportunities are endless. Like,
Yeah.
okay, for example, I took fencing in college
Yeah.
because it sounded cool. And it was cool. Do I want to do it forever? No. But maybe there's somebody who just thinks fencing is the best thing and they're a musician. They want to do a specialization like I'm a musician fencer. What? Why not? I mean, you really kind of can you avoid injury with that? I have zero idea. I don't see how. I think it's better than doing nothing, but I don't know. I mean, by the way, the little flimsy foil swords have little tips on the end. Nobody's stabbing anybody. You can't literally hurt anybody. So, but I mean, I would take just to get a sense of what the different options are and what they're like. I would try any kind of class that sounds remotely appealing. Like there's if you want to stay in the strength training world, that's a whole different ballgame. If you're like, okay, so most classes are kind of geared towards, well, I mean, like a cardio aspect. So we've got spin classes, we've got boxing, kickboxing, we've got Muay Thai, we've got what am I leaving out? All kinds of stuff. But then you've also got like bar classes. Those are not bar and Pilates are not necessarily geared more towards cardio. They're more on the strength side. They're definitely different. Bar yoga and Pilates are definitely in that kind of same camp. And then we've got weightlifting, and then we've got powerlifting, Olympic lifting, we've got CrossFit, we've got, all kinds of the Orange Theory, then you get into classes, right? So it's kind of like, if you haven't experienced what any of that's like, I'd just start taking some classes that sound interesting.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of understand like, well, do I like a class setting? Do I like the one-on-one feel? If I have a session with a personal trainer, I would have some of those. So you're like, oh, this is what I want to do this. I don't know. You don't know until you try, right? So when it comes to injury, the reason I do what I do, like I'm a cyclist. Do I do cycling for musicians? No, it's a hobby. I don't, and also I don't think it can prevent injury in a way that is important to me. So I've been injured 4 times. I feel you. So if you're looking like where to start, when it comes to the whole strength training stuff, actually, this is pretty cool. NASM's Optima conference started today. It's online and they made it free. You can attend right now.
Ooh.
Now through Saturday. Usually you have to travel to Arizona and you have to show up to this in person, which is great because they usually get your CPR classes out of the way. You also get to network with this incredible bunch of trainers. You get all motivated and nerd out and learn all this. But yeah, it's cool that you're asking this because this started today. You have to have your CPT. You don't have to have any kind of affiliation. If you just want to go, you can go and you can see what you're learning. Yeah. Does this sound interesting? Yeah. And then when it comes to injury prevention, like how you want to apply it is really kind of up to you. The reason I do what I do is because I took the 2 things that I really like most, and they make sense when you think about muscle imbalances. And that's why I learned in the CES is, when it comes to anatomy, kinesiology, how does, my bicep curls, my tricep extends. Okay, how do I hold a violin? With the left arm, I am out externally rotated instead of internally rotated. I'm also out like this. Okay, so the biceps getting a lot of workout, external rotator cuffs getting a lot of workout, and then my neck's like this. Ooh, where do people have pain? What are they not doing on the right side? And so you just kind of put these things together, and that made a lot of sense. Can you get that with boxing?
Right.
Somewhat, but it's not like really hyper-focused. But if you don't want to be hyper-focused, it's kind of really up to you. Does that answer anything?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it does. Yeah.
It's been all around the world. The answer is it depends.
Right.
Try everything. But I mean, when you take classes, it's not the same as doing one-on-one. So honestly, I mean, you can get a sense of what sounds appealing. Like, people get injured in CrossFit. Sure. People also get injured in Orange Theory. People also get injured on stuff they watch on YouTube. I have a violist client of mine who ended up with rotator cuff tendonitis and patellar quadricep tendonitis because he watched Athlean X videos. If y'all ever know who he is, you can Google him. He works out with his shirt off and he's kind of arrogant. Great. He has a certain population he appeals to. Fine. But my client just went from doing nothing to doing everything, and he worked himself into 2 giant injuries. And after 2 years, he's still missing some, you can tell his left leg is smaller than his right because of this.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. I mean, take it with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, if you just start exploring all of these options. And I know it can be kind of overwhelming, but if you're thinking, I don't know if do I want to teach? Do I want to train? What captures my interest first? And then follow it down that rabbit hole. I know several musicians who have decided to pursue physical therapy.
Yeah.
I thought about it and went, I don't want to do that. I mean, what's funny is I help a lot of old people. I mean, I have a lot of old clients. My oldest right now is 78, I think. Yeah. 71-year-olds. I think that population is great. They've usually got some little extra cash and they're vested interest in their health because they don't want to fall and break a hip and have to go to a nursing home. And, they want to maintain whatever. Are any of them musicians? One of them is. She is a guitarist and sits at a soundboard. And she wants to do this as long as possible, but her shoulder was all frozen and she couldn't do it anymore. And then she's like, look, I'm 71. I need to, I also want to get back to softball. I miss that. Let's do this, right? So when you start thinking who would I like to work with? What kind of things would I like to help? So you start looking around at the different options you have, but then you really kind of got to narrow it down. If you don't want to, you want to do one-on-one? Oh yeah, the whole reason I didn't want to go through physical therapy is because I felt like it was a little too hyper-focused and localized in one area, and I don't want to deal with somebody's only their jaw. I want to help somebody gain, overall strength and energy, age, and all these things, not just injury, but get strong and look better and feel better and all the things that I knew I liked.
Yeah.
So that's how I came into that.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, just a little background on what I've been doing right now is that I'm taking an extra semester to finish up an exercise science minor because
Hey.
yeah, it's been really really fun. Junior year I was like I should create a minor for performing arts health because we all need to learn this. Why aren't we?
You should.
We should. And so I've been taking well, anatomy and kinesiology have been kicking my butt, but it's been really fun. I'm taking physiology right now and it's just incredible. But now I'm like at the point where I'm finishing up my degree in music with a minor in exercise science, and I'm like, okay, I want to learn more because I want to teach people how to teach. And like, because something I noticed was that all of my teachers, like, I would come to them with my issues like tendonitis and stuff, and they would be like, I mean, see your doctor. But
Yeah, and which doctor do you go see?
right,
What
exactly.
are they gonna tell you?
Yeah, and then I found out later, like, oh yeah, my teacher in college is wonderful, but she pops like ibuprofen like a multivitamin, and I was like, oh no, and then I realized that this was like so many people I knew, and it just went, oh, we need to educate musicians on this, and so my thing is like educating educators, I guess. I would love to do
Yeah,
that.
you can make a career out of that easy.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But that leads me to
Need
another
help?
question. Like, do you think that music educators should be taught this kind of stuff? And if so, like, how do you think that format should go? Just like, I know there's not much like this out there, but I love to pick people's brains on this.
That's why I designed my pilot program.
I mean, yeah.
That's
Just
literally
why I'm
a
in it.
big reason,
Yeah.
as you know. But that's literally a big reason because I got tired of seeing people get injured and just go doctors who say quit because they don't know. I mean, it's just, yeah, absolutely. But you can go a little too far down that rabbit hole. Like, when you were talking and you were talking about your teacher popping on like candy. Like, you know what? Why are there no nutritionists who specialize in musicians?
Mm-hmm.
Inflammation is a big thing. Nutrition plays a huge role in that.
Yeah.
Musicians are not awesome at their nutrition, usually, like on the whole. I'm being very general.
Yeah.
I know several musicians who are just uber health conscious and in the gym all the time, but they don't make up the largest population of musicians I know.
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, okay, why is body mapping and why is Alexander technique like fringe bonus benefits that only certain people get to take if you're lucky to find one? Why? No.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be this way.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, this is something you need to know because, okay, especially at the college level. I mean, you can't control who's teaching what where, and that's, if you're not interested in it at all, I get it. But like as a wind player, when band directors tell you to support, what does that even mean? How, where, what is it? How do you, and it's different for different instruments, right? So I mean, just giving your band directors and your music educators a basic working knowledge of anatomy and kinesiology. So he's gonna sit here and join us. This is Levi. So giving them like a basic working knowledge of anatomy.
Yeah.
What are the muscles that you need to know as a musician? That these are how you hold the instrument. This is these are the things that you need to know to like look out for to prevent injury. It's really funny, but like all the stuff we're covering in my pilot program, I think is really stuff that on the whole, people should be learning to teach others.
Yeah.
You can add nutrition into that. You can add, but like warm-ups. Why are warm-ups only lip slurs or finger glides or long tones? Let me tell you this, fun story. I never learned to do long tones. I don't do long tones. Oh, I never had a teacher give me a proper warm-up, so I don't also have a warm-up. I don't warm up. Right. What do you mean? What am I warming up? it depends on what I'm going to play that day. What am I working on? Do I feel some scales? Do I need to reacquaint myself with my fingers? It's a very intuitive thing. So when I go to play, I know that, whatever I'm working on, if I haven't played for a while, how does this feel? How does this feel? That's what I need to do for a warm-up. But I don't I have to do this many long tones, blah, blah, blah. I got fun story. I got called out in a statewide master class on that I won a position in. And she was like, what do you mean you don't do long tones? I went, nobody ever taught them to me. And I don't do anything unless there's a point. And she didn't take that well. It was not a productive master class.
Oh
no. It was pretty much a waste of time. Anyway, but that being said, what about physical warm-ups? We spend so much time with instrument warm-ups.
Yeah.
And what are we warming up? Are we literally warming up the instrument? No. Does it matter if my flute is warm or cold? No. We're warming up our bodies, but we're not thinking of it that way.
No.
So why don't we learn what we need to do to have a proper warm-up?
Right.
You need to cool down. What does that look like? What's some basic, physical maintenance? Like I do these daily corrective. So if you go on my YouTube channel and you see, look up the instrument specific workouts, like 10 minutes, some of them are kind of longer, but they're all like basic things that you can do, like daily corrective stuff, and then some strength training stuff. It's all basic, no equipment. This is stuff that you can do to keep your body healthy and strong. And you can put this in as a warm up. And the more you do it, the more you're going to know what you're going to need from time to time.
Yeah.
Why are we not teaching this? This is important.
Right. It is, absolutely. And like, why aren't we telling music educators to like how to do this? Like, I have a lot of dancer friends, and I was talking to one who has just graduated from like Utah for dance, and I asked her what she needed to learn as far as did she have to take any anatomy, and she was like, oh yeah, I had to take 2 semesters of anatomy and 2 semesters of kinesiology. And I'm like, we use our bodies too.
Like, they use their bodies, but it's obvious.
Yeah.
And we think, oh, we just sit in a chair. Somebody commented on my Instagram post yesterday, like, I don't remember what it was, which one it was. Basically, she goes, oh yeah, I always do. Oh, it was the comment. It was the thing with Vivian. And this person said, oh yeah, I do warm-ups backstage. I do these exercise routines because I realized that I started hurting. And then when I do these movements, I don't hurt. Also, you can't just jump into a 6-hour rehearsal. You got to work up to it. I'm like, thank you. Would someone please tell orchestra directors you can't jump into 2-3-hour rehearsals a day out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Can we teach this in band? Can we say, hey, you're going to have your season come up. You can't just quit playing for a couple months or only play an hour a day or whatever. You've got to keep that fitness level up to be able to play for 6 hours in one day. If you don't, something's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can go down that road too. So absolutely. I mean, I think I took a whole lot of useless class. Can we take out some of the stupid theory we learned in college? There's too much theory that I will never use. Schenkerian analysis being my favorite dumb thing. This is people who just went, I like crayons, let's color music. Like, you totally made this up. I remember it. No, I haven't used it. Let's take out 12 million semesters of theory, unless you're in jazz. Right. Maybe you should do a couple more semesters of improv. I would have loved more than one. Mm-hmm. Because that's kind of important here in Nashville, where I don't know how to improv. I've lost a lot of gigs because I don't know how to play by ear. It's kind of a problem.
I've had this many. I'd like at least one.
Right? I'm telling you. I mean, I know lots of string players that get these crazy awesome touring studio gigs. They got to make up stuff. Mm-hmm. If you're not taught this, oh no, but let's have 1,200 years of theory or other stuff. Like I had to take Baroque flute for like 2 semesters. Like I think one would have been fine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a whole bunch of extra stuff. We can trim some of this to go forward with what is now important. Do we really need 4 years of theory, music history, and oral training? Can we knock it down to 1? That frees up a lot of time. Do you have to be in every single ensemble in the world? No. how about you focus on what you like, do one of each and focus on what you like, or, whatever, right?
Right.
People love to say, oh, we don't have time, we don't have room. Yeah, you do. You just want to cut out stuff because you think it's important. Okay,
Yeah.
look at how your musicians are getting jobs when they graduate. What are they doing? They probably don't have any business background. They probably have to go get a job because this is not making them money. So take out the stuff they don't need and let the musicians tailor it. Okay, when I got my bachelor's degree, why am I taking basic math and biology? We had this in high school.
Right.
I should have taken acoustics of physics.
Yeah.
We had that, and I didn't know it was a thing. I had to fight tooth and nail to let them allow me to take an anatomy class. They're like, oh, that's only for nursing majors. I'm like, but why do I have to take biology? Because you do. Well, you can take geology or chemistry. I'm like, over my dead body, I'm a music major. Yes, there is room. Let's take out some of this stupid core class stuff you should have had in college. You don't need it. Have I used any of it? Have you used any? Probably not. So it's like, let's revamp the whole college system and make it useful. Throw in some business classes, learn about marketing, what is social media and how to use it, throw in some anatomy, some acoustics, recording, jazz, all these things. You don't have to have, how many years did I have? 4, 5, 6, 7 years of theory.
Oh, geez.
I sucked at all of them. Never use it. I still have trouble building a chord, okay?
Yeah. I know.
That was a tangent. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you though.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think if we just gave teachers a basic working knowledge of anatomy, these are the injuries you might see. This is how to avoid them on a low level scale. Here's who, again, with the pilot program, I'm doing this. These are the doctor's choices you have. You don't just have to send someone to a GP. The GP will look at you and go, also, physical therapy is amazing, but a physical therapist will dump you back out at where your baseline was. And if your baseline was dysfunctional, that might be where you end up. Yeah. That's where a trainer can work along with a PT instead of one or the other, or one and then the other. And then you're even farther along. I mean, I think instead of just saying, oh, you have to have a physical, or you have to have a PE credit in college, make it applicable.
Right.
Let's teach some basic strength, or make your Alexander class or your body mapping class, make those part of the core curriculum. We have to know about our bodies instead of training people with these antiquated terminologies, like stuff that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. This needs to be a thing. Okay, look. So NASM, the other NASM, the National Association of Schools of Music, has in their accreditation. I put this in my book if you haven't seen it. It's in the front. I put it, I think it's page 21-ish. Okay. They have it listed that you have to maintain accreditation. You have to show how you are keeping musicians healthy, how you are actively doing, AKA, they don't want you just putting some stuff on a website and hoping they go find it. No. How are you? You have to provide hearing protection, and you have to tell them when they have to wear hearing protection and how, give them resources, and also avoid, this is in there, how to avoid musculoskeletal injuries. It's in there if you want to be accredited. So I travel around and give workshops, and that helps them meet their accreditation. Have I done it every year? No, I've done it one per school. It should be a course.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
We all need to work on it. I want to work on it. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like these workshops that I'm teaching them the basics of anatomy. I'm teaching them basically all the stuff that's in my book, because those are all basics and the things that they need to know. And like, here's how you do it. And now you know, now you can help your students, and you don't have to know what a trainer knows. You don't have to know what a PT knows or what a doctor knows, but you have more of a working knowledge instead of someone coming to you and saying this hurts and you go, I don't know. Or like if your thumb hurts or your hand hurts, you know to look up here. Is this the problem? Is this the problem? Is this the problem? Or is this the problem? Or maybe it comes from here, instead of just thinking about, right?
Right.
That if you don't want to know that stuff, at least now you know who to send them to. It's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a lot of options with that. You could be the person who develops the course. You could be the person who writes a book. You could be the person who does what I do in a different way.
Yeah.
There's so many options.
Yeah.
I know, there's too many options.
Well, no, I mean,
But it's because
I'm
the
so
field's wide
excited
open.
because you want to do it all, but then you get overwhelmed. So
That's all right. You'll find your path. You should talk to Katie Mess. Do you have her
Katie
info?
Mess. I don't know who that is, no.
She is getting her doctorate in flute performance and her not second doctorate. She's minoring, she's doing exercise science, but something else. Shoot, okay. I forgot. She's going to write her dissertation about this very topic.
Yeah, I would like to talk to her.
Yes, and she's getting her, I'm forgetting all this. I hope she doesn't hear this because I'm going to feel real bad. I don't remember this, but I'm thinking of her and Mackenzie Cooper. Mackenzie Cooper, we interviewed on our podcast.
Yeah, I remember.
And she's a power lifter with the injuries. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Kate, we need to interview Katie. That'd be cool. Katie she's writing her dissertation, something not on, basically about applying strength training to musicians.
Amazing.
Something.
Oh my gosh. That sounds cool.
Because it hasn't been done.
Right.
Not in the way she's gonna do it.
Right.
And there's no reason for it not to be. There's so little research, but she's in her last year.
Right.
So she's somebody you should ask about this.
Absolutely.
Oh
my gosh, I'm gonna write all these things down.
Yeah. Let's see, we're gonna do a presentation on this. See, and I love it that she sends me all kinds of things as she's learning them. It's so fun.
That's so cool.
So hypermobility. Oh yeah. By the way, I have an accordion player who found my podcast and reached out. She's a 70-year-old, another 71-year-old who lives in Miami. She plays accordion, trombone, saxophone, and clarinet. Very odd arrangement. She sent me the most amazing book. It's called Playing Well, Prevention and Biomechanics of Musician Injuries.
Whoa.
I haven't put that in the group yet. Oh, it's brilliant. It talks about hypermobility screening in your fingers. The references on manual therapy, 3 pages of references. I mean, tons of information.
Amazing.
Very little info about strength training again. Very little. Mostly generalized stretching. It was more information about it than what to do about it.
Okay.
So this field, just wide open.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she said she's taking a super cool class called Human Pathophysiology for the Exercise Sciences, and it's all about the injury cycle physiologically and what happens when tissue is damaged, psychological responses, and how to treat it. It's actually an athletic training class, but they let me take it. I'm like, oh, it's awesome. She's getting her doctorate in music performance, y'all.
Oh my gosh. That's so cool.
Yeah, she is super cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. She's telling me about her doctorate, and I can't remember, unfortunately, what I can't find it. So I'm going to tell you all this stuff, and then I don't remember exactly what she's doing.
That's all right.
Yeah. But she just came up with her dissertation title. Oh, maybe because we talked about it on the phone.
Okay.
I don't know. We're going to be doing a presentation together about asymmetrical strength training for your instrument for flute players.
Whoa.
Oh, here we go. She's studying for her CSCS. She said, oh no, she's doing both. Hold on. She is in certification programs from NSCA versus NASM are using similar wording. She's talking about PNF. CES text is brand new, but the CSCS hasn't been updated in a while. Okay, so so she's learning for the CSCS.
Okay.
And she said the biggest difference, this will answer your question. The biggest difference, as far as I understand, is that CSCS is typically aimed at working with larger groups, sports teams, there you go, as opposed to one-on-one.
Oh, okay.
So a big emphasis on creating annual training plans and different methods of programming for a sports season type of thing, but you can work one-on-one. I didn't choose it over the CPT, so I don't know yeah, I can see where you're confused. I don't know either. It was just what was offered, and I'm planning on taking it because it's what I'm most prepared for, blah, blah, blah. She said, plus I'm not sure exactly how all this will end up being incorporated into my job, because she doesn't know what she wants to do either.
Right.
She said, it's a weird situation because I wasn't necessarily planning to do exactly what you do in terms of training people. I wanted the experience and understanding to be able to help students and colleagues with injury prevention rehab, but still always music teacher first and foremost. So having the credentials just opens up some possibilities for me for teaching, creating other courses or programs within the college curriculum. That's right. We have talked about creating together. You should join us.
Oh my gosh, yes. I would love that. That's so cool.
Yeah. And then there's more SAQ. Dadgummit, where does she talk about what her doctorate is? Anyway, that's right. So she is actually doing what you were asking. And we have talked about, hey, we should actually design this. But she's in the throes of her doctoral, writing her dissertation and still in her, she doesn't have time for this right now.
Right.
Sort of does, but not really. I mean, she's writing a bunch of it. We'll just take parts of her stuff, parts of my stuff, make it a thing. There we go. Another income stream. We sell this course to every university in the world.
Right? Absolutely.
Why not? Right? Like you said.
Should. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's a huge undertaking for one person to do. I mean, yeah, you'd get more money, but you'd make a better program where more people are involved in creating it. And it doesn't have to be super nerdy.
Yeah.
And way over their head, so they, let's talk about external rotation and protraction of the serratus anterior.
Right.
Let's dumb it down, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to know all that. You're not going to know that. What if you don't even care? You know the basics, the dumbest down guys, right? And so that's one thing. When you're learning all this, it goes way over your head a lot, and it's very easy. Katie was talking to me the other day about this, and she was like, oh yeah, it has to do, and she was using all these big words because she's right in the throes of it. And I'm like, okay, hold on. I deal with general population all day long. I got you, but I'm having to think a whole lot more about what you just said. Can you just dumb it down for me too? Oh yeah, when you push here and pull that, got it. We're talking about the ipsilateral contralateral. I was like, you mean opposite butt shoulder, got it.
Right.
that is a course that could totally be done for, and you can have varying degrees and different volumes, and there's nobody's doing anything like that.
Right.
That
I know. It's so exciting. Yeah,
you have lots of options.
Yeah, I would love to. I'm not sure if she would be open to talking with me, but I would love to chat with her about this, because I feel very much like an outlier compared to all my friends with this. It's like, oh, you're into the musician's health thing, the really niche thing. I'm like, I mean, yeah.
It's not that niche.
Right.
Not anymore. Not if you spend time on Instagram, it's not.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, if you look at like Austin Pantzer, who's the functional musician, he has the same thing. He's doing a different bent with that too. Yep.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he is. And Janice Yang from Opus PT, she's a physical therapist and musician.
Yeah.
A different bent. And she's actually now on staff as their wellness coordinator at the Colburn School. So, I mean, she's doing something, thank goodness. Francesca Leo, Playing Without Pain, is really on fire doing everything.
Yeah.
She's not doing the same training portion. And who is? Me. not a ton of us.
Right.
Yeah. We need people who specialize in things, like a musician who specializes in CrossFit, or a musician who specializes in all the different modalities that people get really interested in. I mean, you could tell yourself, hey, it's like one of my brand ambassadors is a conducting major at the Colburn School, or she was, and I think she graduated. She's a flutist extraordinaire, and she's really into CrossFit. Now she wants to get into powerlifting. So she's a brand ambassador for Music Strong. But I mean, like, there's those people out there who are in that world and will support you. Maybe they don't want to be the person who's the face of it.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe they don't want to be that person who's teaching it.
Right.
So they work for it. We just don't know. Because we don't know. We're like,
Right.
niche.
Right.
Ish.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can send Katie mess. Oh, and if you don't know, if you've not seen this, see this?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. I need to put those on my
Good.
calendar. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be really great.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's the things musicians don't talk about. TMD. I can't. Whatever. TMDTA podcast.
Yeah.
They are fantastic, and so that's going to be some great information with people you probably need to know. Accounts. I'm looking for Katie. Maybe she's not on. Oh yes, she is. She's like Katie Mess. I think it's Music Mess.
I love that.
Because her last name is Mess.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't see her, but I will send you her information. I'd love to just like give her a shout out. I don't remember where she is.
So cool.
But she's in Florida. She's doing some crazy things. I think she was student teaching a while back, and yes, she's steeped in it. She wants music to come first.
Yeah.
So I love that. There's just room for all of us. There's so much to be done.
So wonderful. Yeah.
I hope this has been helpful. I hope you have some answers.
God.
And like, do you have more questions than answers now?
I mean, that's kind of when you know that you're going in the right direction, though, because it's like the questions have been getting more like, okay, here's the rabbit hole I go down. So that's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah. What direction are you leaning so far, do you think?
I mean, right now I'd like to just try things, but I definitely want to get into, I'm strongly looking at Pilates. And then I took a Tamani lesson with Hannah Murray from Corsinor.
Yes!
Yeah, and I love that because it's a nice comprehensive model where you get a little bit of body mapping, you get a little bit of prevention, and I really love that. So I'm looking at that, plus it's online, which is great, because I don't have the funds to travel to Norway.
Oh, you also look at, if you listen to our podcast at all, we interviewed Christine, is it Clancy? The first American woman to be certified in it. Hannah probably knows, Hannah knows her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I will look at that.
Talk about it. Yeah, she's another flute player. I don't know why we're all flute players, but it's called Uncovering the Effortless Musician. With something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, Tamani's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So I'm
Not
looking
enough
at those areas right now, and then I'm starting to look at CPT, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm just
very cool.
Yeah, I'm just graduating with my bachelor's this semester, so it's kind of like I have some time, but you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all good info. I need to start a resource list in the pilot program about where to go for research, further research if you want it. If you want to start that conversation.
Yes.
Going to go into the program. I've been traveling, so I'll go to the program today and
please
answer furiously.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, totally will. Yeah. Y'all come join the pilot program. Whoever's watching this, it should get
it's pretty great.
We really cover a lot of this.
Yeah, so. We sure do. Yeah, Angela, awesome. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Thank you so much. Well, I will see you at our next coaching call then.
You will. Will you send me a copy of this?
Yes, I totally will. I'll figure out how to send recordings, and then I'll do that. We'll go from there.
When you hit stop, or when you hit end, you can stop the recording, but then when you hit end, it'll save it. Are you recording to the cloud or your computer?
My computer.
Oh, okay. So if you save it to the cloud, there's a link. You just copy the link. Okay. Computer, you probably have to send it through like Google Drive or something.
Oh, sure. I can do that. Okay. No problem. Thank
Yay.
you.
Oh, I'm so glad you said this. This will go in the people want to know this stuff.
They do.
You're not the only person who's asked me this.
Yay.
You're the only person who's asked me this lately.
That's good. Yeah.
And I'll text you Katie's information as soon as I can find it.
Thank you so much, Angela. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I
Welcome
am
to the club.
too. I'm excited we met. This is really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you later then.
All right. Take care, Angela.